My sister-in-law, Jessica, posted the family Christmas photo on social media with a caption about everyone who matters being together. I scrolled through the comments, watching relatives praise the beautiful family portrait, before I noticed something. I'd been completely cropped out. 3 years of family gatherings, and Jessica had systematically erased me from every official family memory. What she didn't know was that her own secrets were about to make her the one person everyone wanted to exclude. My name is Connor Blackwell, 32 years old, and what happened over the next month would prove that sometimes karma doesn't just knock on your door. It kicks it down with the force of your own hypocrisy. But let me start from the beginning. I married Sarah Williams in June 2021, after dating for 2 years. Sarah was everything I'd ever wanted in a partner. Intelligent, compassionate, funny, and completely devoted to her family. That devotion included her older sister, Jessica, who had always been the self-appointed family organizer, social media manager, and unofficial keeper of the Williams family image. Jessica was 35, unmarried, and worked as a marketing coordinator for a local nonprofit. She lived in the same town where she and Sarah had grown up, in an apartment just 10 minutes from their parents' house. She was deeply involved in every aspect of family life, from planning holiday gatherings to managing the family's social media presence. From our first meeting, Jessica made it clear that she viewed me as an outsider who was disrupting the close-knit family dynamic she'd cultivated for years. Sarah's always been my best friend, she told me during our first dinner together. We tell each other everything. I hope that won't change now that she's dating seriously. The pause before dating seriously was deliberate, as if my relationship with Sarah was a temporary phase that would eventually pass. During our engagement, Jessica's behavior became more pointed. She would plan sisters-only activities, organize family events without consulting me, and make comments about how marriage changes people, and sometimes not for the better. But it was after our wedding that Jessica's real campaign began. It started with the wedding photos themselves. Jessica had volunteered to help coordinate family pictures during the reception, and I was grateful for her organization. She seemed to know exactly which relatives needed to be included in which shots and how to arrange large groups efficiently. It wasn't until we received our professional photos weeks later that I noticed the pattern. In every large family group shot, I was positioned at the edge of the frame. In candid shots, Jessica somehow managed to be standing directly in front of me or blocking me with other family members. In the formal family portraits, I was there, but always in positions that could be easily cropped without disrupting the composition. At the time, I assumed it was coincidence. Wedding photography is chaotic, and Jessica had been trying to manage a lot of moving pieces. But then came the social media posts. Jessica had created a beautiful wedding album on Facebook, featuring dozens of professional and candid shots from our big day. She'd carefully curated the images to tell the story of Sarah's special day, complete with heartfelt captions about family love and new beginnings. In every single photo Jessica posted, I was either completely absent or barely visible. She'd cropped the group shots to focus on the Williams family, edited candid moments to highlight Sarah and other relatives, and somehow managed to document our entire wedding while making it look like Sarah had married a ghost. Jessica did such a beautiful job with the wedding album, Sarah's mother commented on one of the posts. It perfectly captures how happy our family is. I scrolled through the comments, watching extended family members praise Jessica's photo curation skills, and realized that to anyone following Jessica's social media, I barely existed. Sarah noticed my absence from the posts, but seemed to think it was an oversight. "Jess, you should include some photos with Connor too," she suggested during our next family dinner. "People will want to see the happy couple together." "Oh, of course," Jessica replied with an enthusiastic smile. "I just wanted to focus on family shots first. I'll definitely add some couple photos later." She never did. Over the following months, the pattern continued and expanded. Every family gathering became an opportunity for Jessica to document the Williams family story while systematically excluding me from the narrative. At Sarah's birthday dinner, Jessica organized a group photo at the restaurant. "Connor, could you take this one for us?" she asked, handing me her phone. "I want to get a shot of the birthday girl with her family." I took the photo, but Jessica also had other people take shots with their phones. The ones that appeared on social media later featured Jessica, Sarah, and their parents gathered around the birthday cake, with captions about celebrating another year with the people who matter most. During Thanksgiving, Jessica brought a professional camera and spent the day taking candid family moments. She'd position herself strategically to capture Sarah, their parents, and other relatives in natural interactions. But somehow every shot that included me was either out of focus, poorly lit, or taken from an unflattering angle. The Thanksgiving photo album that appeared on Jessica's Instagram told the story of a perfect family holiday. Sarah helping her mother in the kitchen, the family gathered around the dinner table, everyone laughing in the living room afterward. I was present for all of these moments, but according to Jessica's documentation, I might as well have been invisible. "Jessica has such a good eye for photography," Sarah's father commented on one of the posts. "She really captures the essence of our family gatherings." The most painful exclusion came during Christmas 2023. Sarah's grandmother was visiting from Florida, and it was her first time meeting me. The 87-year-old woman was delighted to finally meet Sarah's husband, and we spent hours talking about her late husband's military service and my work in logistics coordination. "Connor, you remind me so much of my Harold," she told me, patting my hand during Christmas dinner. Sarah chose well. Jessica organized an elaborate Christmas photo session that evening, with multiple outfit changes and different groupings around the tree. There were shots of Sarah with her grandmother, three-generation photos with Sarah's parents, sibling shots of Sarah and Jessica, and large group photos including extended family members who'd joined us for dinner. I participated in every photo session, standing where Jessica directed, smiling on cue, and helping arrange other family members for the best shots. When Jessica posted the Christmas album 2 days later, I understood the true scope of her project. The album told the story of Sarah's grandmother's visit through carefully curated images. Grandmother meeting her granddaughter's family, 3 generations of Williams women, siblings creating new memories, and a large family gathering celebrating the holidays together. Every photo had been either cropped or edited to remove me completely. In the large group shots, I'd been digitally erased with impressive skill. In photos where removal wasn't possible, Jessica had simply chosen alternative shots from the same pose where I was blocked by other family members or standing outside the frame. The caption on the main photo read, "Nothing better than having everyone who matters together for Christmas." Grandma got to meet all the important people in Sarah's life. all the important people in Sarah's life, except her husband. I screenshot the post and scrolled through the comments, watching extended family members comment on how wonderful it was to see the whole family together, and how Sarah looked so happy, surrounded by all the people who love her most. Sarah was at work when I discovered the post, so I had time to process what I was seeing. This wasn't accidental exclusion or poor photo editing. This was a deliberate project to document our family's history while erasing my existence from it. I went back through 3 years of Jessica's social media posts, looking at every family gathering I'd attended. The pattern was consistent and sophisticated. Jessica had systematically created a visual narrative of the Williams family that portrayed Sarah as single, surrounded by loving family members, living a life where I played no meaningful role. But as I scrolled through Jessica's photo history, I noticed something else, something that made me understand why she was so obsessed with controlling the family's visual narrative. Jessica's own posts showed a carefully curated life, professional success, close family relationships, active social life, and what appeared to be a romantic relationship with someone named Mark, who appeared regularly in her photos over the past year. Mark was handsome, well-dressed, and featured prominently in Jessica's posts about dinner dates, weekend trips, and holiday celebrations. Jessica's captions suggested they were serious, with references to building something special and excited about the future. But there was something odd about Mark's presence in Jessica's photos. He never appeared in group shots with other people. His photos were always couple shots, selfies, or images where he was the only other person visible. He never appeared at family gatherings, despite Jessica's posts suggesting they spent significant time together. I started paying closer attention to the metadata and timing of Jessica's posts. The romantic dinner photos were taken at different restaurants on different nights than the group photos with friends. The weekend getaway shots were posted from locations where Jessica had also posted solo travel content. My suspicion grew when I realized that Mark never appeared in photos posted by other people, despite Jessica's social media, suggesting they had mutual friends and an active social life together. I decided to do some research. Mark's social media profile was sparse and looked professionally managed. His photos were high quality, but generic, showing him in various locations that seemed designed to suggest an affluent lifestyle without revealing specific details about his location or activities. More telling, Mark's profile showed no photos or mentions of Jessica, despite her posts suggesting they'd been together for over a year. Using reverse image search tools, I discovered that Mark's photos were actually stock images purchased from photography websites. Jessica had been creating a fake boyfriend, using professional model photos, and creating elaborate fictional narratives about their relationship. The woman who had spent 3 years systematically excluding me from family photos because I didn't fit her vision of Sarah's life had been lying about her own romantic relationship for over a year. I spent several days considering what to do with this information. Jessica had been deliberately cruel in her exclusion campaign, but exposing her fake relationship would be devastating and public. Then Jessica made a post that changed my mind about showing mercy. It was New Year's Eve, and Jessica posted a romantic photo of herself and Mark at what appeared to be an upscale restaurant, with a caption about starting the new year with the man of my dreams and so grateful for real love. Sarah commented on the post, "So happy you found someone as wonderful as you are. Can't wait to meet Mark soon." Jessica's response was what pushed me over the edge. He's amazing, unlike some people who don't appreciate what they have. Real men know how to treat the women they love. The comment was clearly directed at me, suggesting to our extended family that I didn't treat Sarah properly. It was character assassination disguised as relationship advice. That evening, I decided Jessica's fake relationship was about to become a very real problem. I created a comprehensive file documenting Jessica's fake boyfriend, including the stock photo sources, inconsistencies in her posts, and evidence that Mark didn't exist. Then I waited for the right moment to reveal the truth. The opportunity came 2 weeks later when Jessica announced that she was bringing Mark to Sarah's birthday celebration. Sarah was thrilled at the prospect of finally meeting her sister's boyfriend, and their parents were excited to welcome another potential addition to the family. "I can't wait to meet this mysterious Mark," Sarah told me as we prepared for the dinner. "Jess has been so secretive about him, but he sounds perfect." "I'm sure it will be an interesting evening," I replied. The birthday dinner was held at the same restaurant where Jessica had previously excluded me from family photos. Sarah's parents had made reservations for 8 people: Sarah and me, Jessica and Mark, their parents, and Sarah's aunt and uncle who were visiting from out of town. Jessica arrived alone, looking nervous. "Where's Mark?" Sarah asked immediately. "He had a last-minute work emergency," Jessica explained. "He's so disappointed he couldn't make it. He was really looking forward to meeting everyone." "What kind of work does he do again?" Sarah's father asked. "You've mentioned his job, but I don't think you've ever been specific." Jessica's answer was vague and inconsistent with previous stories she'd told about Mark's career. Throughout dinner, the family peppered Jessica with questions about Mark. When would they get to meet him? What were his long-term plans? Was he serious about Jessica? Jessica's answers became increasingly evasive and contradictory. She claimed Mark was traveling for work, but couldn't explain which company he worked for. She said he was from the area originally, but couldn't name his high school or family connections. "Jessica," Sarah's mother said gently, "is everything okay with Mark? You seem uncomfortable talking about him." "Everything's fine," Jessica insisted. "He's just private. Some people don't feel the need to share every detail of their personal lives." The comment was another dig at Sarah and me, suggesting we were too open about our relationship. After dinner, as we gathered for the traditional birthday photos, Jessica's anxiety was obvious. She kept checking her phone and making excuses for Mark's absence. "It's such a shame Mark couldn't be here," Sarah's aunt commented. "We've been so curious about him based on all your social media posts." That's when I decided it was time. "Actually," I said quietly, "I think there might be some confusion about Mark." The table went silent. "What do you mean?" Sarah asked. I pulled out my phone and opened Jessica's Instagram profile. "Jessica, these photos of you and Mark are beautiful. Professional quality, really." "Thank you," Jessica replied cautiously. "In fact, they're so professional that I was curious about who took them. That's when I discovered something interesting." I showed the table my research, explaining how I'd found the original stock photos and traced the images to photography websites. "Connor, what are you saying?" Sarah's mother asked. I'm saying that Mark doesn't exist. Jessica has been using stock photos to create a fake boyfriend for over a year. The silence at the table was deafening. Jessica's face had gone completely white. That's ridiculous, she whispered, but her voice was shaking. I showed them the evidence methodically. The stock photo sources, the metadata analysis, the inconsistencies in Jessica's stories. By the time I finished, it was clear to everyone that Mark was fictional. Jessica, Sarah said quietly, is this true? Jessica burst into tears. Everyone was so happy about your marriage, and I felt left out. I wanted to feel included, to have someone special too. So you created a fake boyfriend? Sarah's father asked, his voice a mixture of confusion and disappointment. It was just supposed to be temporary, but then people started asking questions, and I couldn't figure out how to end it without admitting I'd been lying. Sarah reached across the table and took her sister's hand. Jess, why didn't you just talk to us? We would have understood. Because I've been so awful to Connor, Jessica sobbed. I was jealous that you found someone wonderful, and I took it out on him. I thought if I could make it seem like I had someone too, it would hurt less. The truth about the photo exclusions came out over the next hour. Jessica admitted that she'd been systematically removing me from family photos because she couldn't stand the visual reminder that Sarah was happily married while she was alone. Every time I saw Connor in the family photos, it reminded me that Sarah had moved on to a new phase of life, and I was stuck in the same place, she explained through tears. Sarah's parents were horrified by the extent of Jessica's deception and exclusion campaign. Jessica, her mother said firmly, what you did to Connor was cruel. He's part of our family, and you've spent 3 years erasing him from our memories. I know, Jessica whispered. I'm so sorry, Connor. I was jealous and petty, and I hurt you because I was hurting. The birthday celebration ended early, with Jessica leaving in tears and promises to make things right. Over the following weeks, Jessica began the difficult process of addressing her deception. She posted a public apology on social media, explaining that she'd been struggling with loneliness and had created a fictional relationship to cope with her feelings of isolation. She also went back through 3 years of family photos and created new albums that included me, with captions acknowledging her previous exclusions and apologizing for her behavior. I want to publicly apologize to my brother-in-law, Connor, for my petty and hurtful behavior over the past 3 years, she wrote in a Facebook post. I excluded him from family photos because I was jealous of his happiness with my sister. Connor has been nothing but kind to our family, and he deserved better from me. The response from extended family was swift and overwhelmingly supportive of me. Relatives who had commented on Jessica's previous posts, expressing how complete the family looked, began asking why I had been excluded from so many gatherings. I always wondered why we never saw Connor in the family photos, Sarah's cousin commented. Now I understand. Jessica, this was really hurtful behavior. Jessica also entered therapy to address the underlying issues that had led to her deception and exclusion campaign. She realized that her need to control the family narrative stemmed from her fear of being left behind as Sarah and I built our own life together. The most meaningful moment came 6 months later, during Christmas 2024. Jessica had volunteered to organize the family photos again, but this time she made a point of positioning me prominently in every shot. Connor, You stand right here next to Sarah, she directed, placing me in the center of the family group. This is your family too. When she posted the Christmas photos, the caption read, "Grateful for our complete family, including my wonderful brother-in-law, Connor, who has shown me what grace and forgiveness look like." Jessica never created another fake relationship, but she did start dating someone real about a year later. When she introduced him to the family, she made sure to emphasize his presence in every photo and social media post. I learned the hard way that authenticity is more important than image, she told me privately. And that family means including everyone, not just the people who make you feel comfortable. The sister-in-law, who had spent 3 years systematically erasing me from family memories, had learned that her own deception was far more damaging than any truth she'd been trying to avoid. And the fake boyfriend she'd used to make herself feel better about being single? He became the catalyst for some very real conversations about honesty, inclusion, and what it truly means to be family. Sometimes the best revenge isn't planning elaborate payback. Sometimes it's simply waiting for people's own deceptions to catch up with them, then choosing forgiveness over further harm. Jessica's karma wasn't that I exposed her fake relationship. Her karma was learning that the love and acceptance she'd been seeking from her family had always been available. She'd just been too busy curating a false image to receive it.